When you live in a building long enough, you learn its rhythms. The slam of the entrance door, the groan of the elevator, the footsteps overhead, familiar noise, easy to ignore. But then, there are sounds you don't get used to. That was the man in 4B. He was always there, but never known. Thin, pale, eyes too empty. He didn't greet people, didn't even pretend to. It wasn't shyness. It was something else, like he'd forgotten how to be human. I started to notice the pacing first, always after midnight, back and forth across the ceiling, long, steady strides, sometimes dragging, hours of it, like a ritual. Then silence, sudden, absolute. And in that silence, I'd swear he was listening. I saw him outside his apartment a few times, once at the mailboxes, staring at my door for so long I froze in place. Once in the laundry room, close to midnight, watching the dryer spin, his fingers twitching like he was keeping count of every turn. Another time, by the dumpsters, pulling apart bags, slow and careful, like he was digging for something specific. Nobody else in the building ever seemed to mention him. It was like he wasn't real to anyone but me. And then, little changes began in my apartment. My lock, different, like it had been reset. Curtains drawn when I left them open. A chair moved a few inches. A glass on the counter shifted to the edge. Nothing stolen, nothing broken, just disturbed. Like someone had been inside, touching, testing. One night, the pacing was worse than ever, loud, violent, like something was being dragged. It stopped at 3:07 a.m. Silence pressed down, and then a knock from inside my closet. The next day, I told the landlord I had to leave. I didn't give details. I just said I couldn't stay. He didn't ask why. He only muttered, 4B's always been a problem. Flat, resigned, like he'd said it before. But before I left, I made the mistake of opening the closet. The drywall in the back had been cut cleanly into a neat rectangle, a hidden entrance into the space between the walls, and in that hollow dark, he was there, folded into the shadows, bent wrong, like his bones didn't matter, eyes wide, catching just enough light to glimmer. His mouth opened, but no sound came, just a hiss of breath, watching, waiting. I slammed the door and ran, left everything behind. Later, I found out the landlord had replaced my lock twice in 1 month before I moved in. Tenants before me had filed noise complaints about pacing at night, always dismissed. One woman reported missing laundry. Another said she thought someone was entering her apartment. Both left suddenly, no forwarding addresses. When I pressed for records, there were none. No official documentation on 4B, no rental file, no payment history. It was like he was never supposed to exist. The police report I eventually saw, filed months later after tenant disturbance complaints, listed 4B as vacant, no evidence of occupancy, no furniture, no personal belongings, just bare walls. But I know what I saw, and what I still hear, sometimes, even now, the faint sound of pacing, heavy and deliberate. And sometimes, when I wake up in the dead of night, I swear I hear that knock again, not from the hall, not from upstairs, from inside my closet.